Okay, so let me just say to you, I know y'all are like, where has the Miss Katie content been? I can tell you right now, it's been over here on her, over there, not over here, over there on her channel. That's where it stayed, over there. And occasionally, I can pull some good things off of it. Occasionally I can. And it just so happened I pulled just a couple of things off of it where she sounds like she's being an attorney, okay? She sounds like she's got this case all down pat, and she could win it for herself if she was up there. She could just go ahead and take over and get herself a law degree. And people are in the comments going, Miss Katie's got this. Miss Katie can explain this better than anybody else. So I figured I'd take a little bitty highlight points from some of her videos and just go ahead and clip them together so that y'all can see what I'm talking about and what I'm hearing. Okay? So you want to just have a little bit of fun with this? And I know y'all are going to have your own opinions. So why not, y'all? Go ahead and discuss them in the comments while I go ahead and present them to you. Alrighty.
Interestingly, the lawyers who she's probably paying, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000 an hour, could not actually capitalize the word federal. But I digress.
Y'all got to pay attention to the screen too, just in case you don't know. You got to watch it, because I don't think y'all want to really me do a play-by-play. But yeah, she's calling out the attorneys for not capitalizing the right letters or the right words. We got a long way to go on this one, people. So I'm going to let it play and I'm going to shut up and y'all get to hear it.
She should get the fair reporting privileges because she's apparently a journalist.
Miss Katie is a journalist too, guys.
And what I personally don't like is that they've even offered this as an explanation in their motion to dismiss, because what it does to me, and I'm not the judge.
She wishes she was. She talks a lot about the judge in this case. And she says what the judge should do and what the judge shouldn't do and what the judge ain't doing too.
And that doesn't really resonate with me as far as like someone who is innocent.
She can pick who's innocent and who's guilty, guys. Y'all, just buckle up.
Right? So this argument to me just really feels like a reach. What I'm seeing is just a lack of overwhelming accountability here.
Miss Katie never has accountability for anything, not even in her own daggum case. So how does she have the right calling out accountability here? I don't know. She's the attorney.
What I found the most bizarre is that this is how she frames her doing all of the editing. What I truthfully was shocked the most out of all of this was that there was nothing she could point to what was in the smear campaign. What were the actual things that they said about her in the smear campaign that caused damage to her?
That's the thing. Miss Katie is only talking about a smear campaign. It's always about a smear campaign with somebody. Somebody is causing a smear campaign, and Miss Katie just cannot wrap her head around all these smear campaigns.
That her reputation is in the toilet.
She's talking about her own at this point, don't you think?
What I did then is you pull up this order, which you can find over on CaseNet, blah, blah, blah.
Like that. I had to include it. Y'all can hate me later. I had to include it.
Kind of signals to me that this judge is very serious about this case, and that even though they want it to get thrown out in the beginning, that this is a judge that is very unlikely to throw things out that have very serious claims in them.
Told you, she's all about this judge. She knows this judge better than anybody else knows this judge, and she knows what this judge is going to do, and when he's going to do it, and how he's going to do it.
And he is going to try to get these cases litigated instead of thrown out on a technicality. Whoa, I was watching Stuart and Keith and they were like, this is a really good motion to dismiss. Yes, it was a well-pled motion to dismiss.
She watches other attorneys, and then she brings it onto her channel and says, yeah, I agree, or no, I don't.
So I was feeling, frustrated after reading her motion to dismiss. And I've noticed this in a lot of his filings, that he is taking a very fair position here, that there are credible claims on both sides.
Can you believe that? She's using the word credible for both sides on this, including Blake. Can you believe that? I was, oh my goodness, shocked.
Here's what my chat GPT said.
Yeah, I did a video on that one. a good one.
I'm not going to promote the film. I'm not going to talk to Taylor Swift. That will not pass the sniff test.
She knows what's going to go and what's not going to go. Y'all need to be paying attention to Miss Katie.
And because this case is complicated, I can't see on the basis the judge being like, yep, I'm going to just throw it out.
She knows this judge better than anybody.
This is such a visible case that I just can't see a judge being like, yeah, we're going to throw it out, because what if he's wrong?
Ooh, we ain't going to say nothing about that one.
So long story short,
it's never a short story. It's never short. These videos are going on from 20 to 30 minutes. But she keeps saying long story short. She don't know the meaning of short.
I was waiting for this to happen. I knew it. I had a feeling it was coming because it felt like Stephanie Jones was all over this case.
Another person in this case, and she talks about her a lot.
Like her, whatever she was doing, the publicist of Wayfair that got this all going, that lost her ever-loving marbles.
She's a journalist. Miss Katie's a journalist. She's an attorney. She's the judge advisor. I don't know what she is anymore at this point.
I mean, I told you that. That's what they were trying to do. They want her out of business. They want him out of business because they're a competing production company. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and this is all my opinion, and everything in here's my opinion, and this is for your entertainment, and only your entertainment, and my entertainment, because I'm having a little bit of fun here.
I love the way that they put together these complaints are like reading a novel, a really juicy one.
Juicy now.
So this was actually created by Brian and Mitchell Schuster and Kevin Fritz. Here's the thing. I'm happy to see this lawsuit. I truly hope that this all gets sorted out, because that lawsuit helped me with explaining how everything created this madness.
See, it took one lawsuit. Now she gets to explain everything that's going on with this case.
This is such a sick and disgusting world, and I'm so done with it.
She's so done. But she keeps on going and going and going, and her channel is just prospering from it.
And in my video that we talked about last week, my prediction was that the judge's decision would include a modified version. I also stated that I believed they would not get the entirety of the protective order that they sought.
And she is constantly saying, hey, I told you so. 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 And she likes to say that, like I said, a lot.
As I predicted, that's exactly what the order became.
Yep, I told you so.
I don't disagree with this order. I think it's good for both sides. I don't think this is a bad idea for either side. I think I said a couple days ago that it almost feels like the public PR people are the whole reason they're in this mess to begin with.
Sometimes I don't know what to say to her. I just make these clips and I'm like, all right, Miss Katie, continue on.
Blah, 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 blah.
I love those. She's so professional and she's explaining these cases and all this, and all of a sudden you hear blah, 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 blah. She's giving me a crack up. I'm telling you, she's just making me laugh sometimes.
Same with Taylor Swift.
And she loves saying the name Taylor Swift, as we all know. She just loves saying the name Taylor Swift or Miss Taylor.
So we're not going to say find out if Taylor and Travis's relationship is staged and fake. You know, that's what I'm just saying.
Oh, that one sent me over. I was like, you really want to know if that relationship is fake? Seriously? That's one question you have? You were hoping that you would know that? Are you kidding me? Nobody needs to know that. It doesn't need to be discussed. Who would think it's fake? And yes, I was sitting there questioning Miss Katie Joy. I was like, are you serious right now? Talking to my computer screen. Yes, I do that a lot.
So it's going to protect their personal secrets that are going on in their lives that have nothing to do with the film. So we're not going to get as much tea, I guess, is what, some people were hoping. We were going to get all kinds of tea in here. And there's enough tea in the allegations in the case to begin with.
So Miss Katie was waiting for it, completely waiting for it. She's like, what all am I going to know out of this? She was hoping and wishing and had her fingers crossed. And then they told him, no, you ain't getting nothing.
From my perspective, the only way he's going to win is if they go to trial and they're able to prove that this didn't happen, or if they can go through discovery, and through the discovery process, they can disprove literally all of her claims, which
Doesn't it sound like she knows exactly what she's talking about? Does it or does it not? It sounds like she knows everything there is to know about this case. And people in her comment section are saying the same exact daggone thing. That listening to Katie is a lot easier than listening to some attorneys, because she explains it with a more calm and understanding and layman's way. I ain't joking, y'all.
I've had one of these in one of my cases, and like I said, they're a pain in the butt, but they also protect you. So
I can't remember exactly what it is. I think for somebody's eyes only. I think that's what that was.
I was recently watching a channel, Ask Two Lawyers. It's my opinion.
Yeah, ask to Lori. She'll tell you what kind of where she got her information from sometimes. But I think the chat GPT, I don't even know what it is because I don't use it. I think that's the one that got her.
I told you last week that Leslie Sloan wants to get out of this lawsuit. Does anyone remember this? Guess who's already trying to get out of giving discovery? Leslie Sloan.
It continues and continues. She says, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. It continues in almost every video.
I told you that they would do everything they can. I guarantee you that the next course of action will be Blake and Ryan will file a motion to dismiss, and then they will say, we need a pause on discovery. Guarantee it.
There is no wishy-washy when she says it. She says it with her foot planted strong. She says it like she knows it's going to happen. She don't deny it neither.
I've never seen a case use so many motions letters this way. And the reason they're doing it is because it gets it to the judge faster than actually filing a motion. They want full transparency, which I recognize. Like, if you have nothing to hide, hide nothing.
I was like, well, daggum, Miss Katie. You need to offer him more legal advice, don't you? Is that from your attorney or is that your advice? Sometimes I get confused.
I don't see either side settling at this time. Certain online content creators who frequently parrot the Wayfair party's line, at least one of whom happens to be a client of Wayfair's counsel, Brian Friedman.
I want to know who that is, Miss Katie. You need to we want to know names. Since you know so much, we want to know names.
Who's Perez Hilton?
Oh, see, no, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry, I forgot. I completely forgot. See, I do these and then I forget them. But we're going to use names now. We're going to use names.
Perez has not said anything derogatory. Come on now. I mean, he does say that she's almost 40 and he calls her Blake Scarlett Johansson's ex-husband's new wife. But that's also a fact, okay?
You hear that little inner voice? Inner voice. She's got that there. She's like, let me go ahead and I'm going to just say it is the fact, right? It's a fact and I get to make a jab at the same time. Everyone
that's in and covering this case has a Pacer account and is reading the documents and they're writing headlines to get clicks.
I don't have a Pacer account. I'm just saying and using your words, Miss Katie. You just keep talking.
So apparently Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, The Mirror, and every outlet that doesn't have a favorable headline.
Every outlet. And I really don't know what all outlets because she keeps naming them constantly.
And uses the words that they used in their protective order is on the side of Wayfair.
Oh, yeah. And she reads them a lot, word by word by word. And that's how you get a 30-minute video.
Perez and all these other outlets are literally just reading what Blake Lively asked the court to do.
And Miss Katie, you were doing the same exact thing. That's why it's hard to watch you.
And then somehow if you do that, then you're supporting Wayfair. Oh, God, I cannot with these people. This is how you know you're win litigation with a narcissist.
I thought that was funny. I was like, Miss Katie would know. Miss Katie would know.
You cannot win with a narcissist.
Exactly. Miss Katie would know.
My only issue with this type of level with attorney's eyes only is they're saying that anyone can come in, a third party, and request that anything they provide is attorney's eyes only.
That's the thing whenever I was saying eyes only and I didn't know what it was. Yeah, she said it for me.
What I love about Brian Friedman is that Brian uses language where it's very clear that they understand that this is a narcissistic smear campaign. And one of the most common things that happens with a narcissistic smear campaign is that they try to reverse victim perpetrator.
Told you. It's always a smear campaign. Almost in every video, it's a smear campaign of somebody. And I don't even know half the time who's smearing who. Miss Katie will let us know it's a smear campaign. And I'm just wondering when the smear campaign turns into Miss Katie. Occasionally it does. But most of the time, it's not.
It's in a quotation. I want you to marinate on that for a second.
I try to marinate on a lot of things you say, but I get confused. Because I'm tired of seeing all the daggum papers you put up there.
Well, friends, as I've done some sleuthing, and I do this via Google and I do this through customized searches. When you read through the Hollywood Reporter's article from yesterday, you see just how serious of an issue this is.
Do you see on your screen? She is reading this. She will read it word for word. And these people will tell her, I can read this by myself. And she really just doesn't care.
And how more media are starting to pay attention to the fact that something actually really did happen with this film. And why did it happen? And how did this happen?
Miss Katie's going to tell us. I think she tells us in multiple videos over and over and over again. I just don't bring it to y'all.
And what's going to happen to Sony? And is Sony going to get dragged into this too? Because Sony enabled the extortion of the film from Wayfair. She 100% threatened to pull the Taylor Swift song.
Taylor Swift. Can we say Taylor? Can we say Taylor? How about Miss Taylor? How about Miss Taylor? Because we want to know all the ins and outs of Miss Taylor. Because she is America's sweetheart. And we don't believe those exist in this day and time.
Because Ryan's company was involved, Maximum Effort, with the marketing. And he's the one that filmed all of the marketing, did all the marketing efforts. The reason why Baldoni's not involved and why he's not allowed to be there is because of Ryan's jealousy and anger.
Ryan's jealousy and anger. Yeah, you know, sometimes Miss Katie sounds just a little bit like Ryan too. We got to look at that one.
His rage, his envy, his insecurity. Do you think this could ever get turned into some sort of criminal case? Do you think the DOJ and FBI will get involved?
I laughed. I was like, Miss Katie done said FBI.
Maybe not, but do you think it could happen? And when it comes to the director's cut, I just want to explain to you what they wrote in the article, and I'll read it to you.
Like I said, she's going to read it to you. Doesn't she have so much faith in her audience?
When I looked at this document, I was like, they never should have signed this. But if this goes to a jury, I just don't see her winning. And it's less to do about the merits or what she has in her complaint and more to do about the facts of there are none. There's a lot of hearsay.
Ooh, she's using them legal terms now, guys. She knows what they are. Oh, goodness gracious, she knows exactly what words to use. Y'all watch out.
In reviewing Blake's case, I noticed a few deficiencies that if Baldoni and if Wayfair would have wanted, they could have done what's called a motion to dismiss.
Hey, y'all, see, she's telling them what papers to file, what motions to file, what orders need to be signed. She's telling them all. Yeah, she's giving legal advice. No, my opinion, she's using them words. She'll tell you it ain't legal advice, though.
Under grounds that these specific issues, i.e. the way the contract was set up and not going through the EEOC, that these two issues could have led to some of these claims being dismissed if she didn't go through the proper channels.
Miss Katie, do you even know what you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what you're talking about? You confuse me a lot of the times. And if I'm confused, maybe y'all out there are a little bit confused. You know, hey, y'all can't blame me. All I'm doing is I'm making the clips and I'm bringing them to you.
Somehow that got transmuted to people believing that I factually said that the case will get thrown out, which is not what I said.
You can't be doing that, Miss Katie. You always say things like it's a fact, and it's not a fact. You gotta say now, this is not a fact. You gotta actually say it's my opinion, and only my opinion, just like I do. That's what you gotta say now, because some of your people don't believe in your own opinion. They take you at your word. So you got them believing that. So you gotta make sure you stay strong, and you're not an attorney.
I said they want to go to trial. They've already said they're not going to file a motion to dismiss, but here are some examples of why they might believe she has no grounds or standing to sue. So I hope that clarifies. I'm not here to be a lawyer.
I hope y'all laughed through that. I thought that was absolutely funny. I clipped those together, and I just had a good old time doing it, because I was like, she's not an attorney, but she wants to sound like an attorney. I don't know if she's a journalist. I don't know how she's reporting on this. I don't know how. I don't know what to call her anymore. I don't think she knows what to call herself. I think I'm just off out here on La La Land, just going, I'll call her whatever she wants to be called at this point. I don't even know. People are down in the comments going, thank you, Miss Kitey. They don't call her Miss Kitey. I call her Miss Kitey. But they're like, thank you so much, Miss Kitey, for, you relay it to us. You do such a good job, and you're not doing these legal facts to us, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going, you can say layman terms. I don't know. But if I'm smiling, y'all better be smiling. If I'm laughing, y'all better be laughing, because it's a good day to have a smile on your face. But I hope you do have a good day, night, weekend, holiday, year, whenever you might be watching this. And remember to smile. Smile today, or make somebody else smile, because it really can make a difference. Like I said, if I can bring Miss Kitey to you, I will bring Miss Kitey to you. I will do it in any way I possibly can, but I am not going to bring Miss Kitey to you when all she's doing is reading legal papers. I'm not going to, because it gets boring. It gets absolutely downright boring. There is nothing, yes, I have stuff on underneath this, but there is absolutely nothing to say to y'all until I make things like this. Then when I make things like this, I will bring them to you. Okay? That's what I do. And then I have a laugh at it when I make it. And if I'm laughing, then I hope you do too. But all right, guys, I do believe that y'all need to have a good one. Bye.